Under the relentless rain, a trembling hand retrieves a scorched photograph, the last remnant of a home that no longer exists. They believe they were discarding a useless old woman, unaware they were casting away the very soul holding their roof together. Sometimes, the deepest betrayal is not an end, but a brutal cleansing required for a magnificent new life to finally emerge. Martha was not merely a farmer. She was the eternal flame keeper, ensuring warmth and sustenance survive through the harshest winters. Yet, when her husband passed, her own daughter Elena saw her mother not as a parent, but as an unnecessary expense. Her lazy son-in-law viewed her silent presence as a heavy burden that disturbed his long afternoon naps and idle lifestyle. The air in the house grew colder than the winter outside, filled with unspoken resentment and the sharp edges of greed. On the coldest night recorded in history, Elena did the unthinkable, tossing her mother's meager clothing out into the freezing snow. She did not stop there. She mercilessly burned the cultivation diary, the only precious keepsake left from her father's lifetime work. Martha stood amidst the swirling snow, offering no plea for mercy, her eyes reflecting a cold awakening rather than defeated pain. Silence became her shield as she realized that family bonds had severed, leaving her free to walk into the unknown darkness. She did not seek gold or shelter, but went to the ancient oak tree, where a secret ceramic jar was buried. Inside lay ancient seeds her husband had collected over a lifetime, representing a currency of hope far more valuable than money. To Martha, these tiny grains were the true treasure, possessing the dormant power to create life where there was only death. She departed that night, carrying immense wealth that the blind eyes of greed and selfishness could never perceive or understand. She traveled, not to a rich village, but to a desolate, abandoned hill where villagers claimed nothing could ever grow again. Martha smiled at the dry earth, knowing the land was not dead, only the hearts of men had withered away. With bleeding hands and unwavering resolve, she began to dig, pouring her sweat into the soil to awaken its sleeping spirit. Days turned into weeks, and from the dust, a miracle emerged as the ancient seeds broke through the crust of despair. Back at the old homestead, Elena and her husband lived in luxury. Yet their corn withered and livestock fell mysteriously ill. The physical structure of their house began to crack and crumble, mirroring the rotting state of their hollow and greedy souls. In stark contrast, the barren hill had transformed into a lush paradise, a vibrant testament to the power of nurturing care. The poor flocked to her sanctuary, where she gave them food and taught them the sacred art of sowing their own. Bankrupt and desperate, the son-in-law arrived to steal, only to stand frozen in awe before the majestic green empire she built. Martha stood before him without anger, handing him a simple garden hoe instead of the judgment he expected to receive. She told him softly that if he wanted to eat, he must learn to bow down to the earth and work. He fell to his knees, overwhelmed by a shame he had never felt, finally understanding the weight of his past arrogance. Years passed, and as Martha grew frail, she decided not to leave her thriving farm to her ungrateful blood relatives. Instead, she transformed her estate into a foundation of hope, ensuring it would forever serve the community that helped her build. Elena arrived in a fury, screaming for her inheritance, demanding ownership of the wealth she had once thrown out the door. Martha calmly placed a handful of cold ash into Elena's hand, a symbol of the bridges she had burned long ago. She whispered that this ash was all Elena had chosen when she destroyed their bond, telling her to replant from there. Your true value is never defined by how others treat you, but by what you can rebuild from your own ruins. Kindness remains the only resilient seed capable of blooming beautifully, even when planted in the harsh desert of human greed. Do not fear being discarded by others. Fear only the day you have no seeds left in your heart to restart. True power lies in self-reliance, never waiting for the pity of those who are unworthy of your time or energy. Money can vanish in an instant, but the skills and knowledge you possess are immortal assets that no thief can steal. There is no need for violent revenge. Your brilliant success serves as the ultimate penalty for those who once betrayed you. The legacy we leave is not in what we keep, but in what we share with those who truly value us. The universe always balances the scales, rewarding the patient gardener while the greedy eventually starve in the barren fields they created. Life is a cycle of shedding the old to make way for the new, a constant process of growth and renewal. Remember that every ending is merely a disguise for a new beginning, waiting for you to plant the first seed. Rise from your own ashes today, for the world is waiting to see the magnificent garden you are destined to grow. Let your life be the testament that proves hope is stronger than despair, and love is mightier than any betrayal. Thank you for watching this journey of rebirth. Subscribe to Mindset Saga for more stories that awaken your inner strength.